All right, hello everyone. I am Hector, and welcome to this episode of Endeavour News. I am joined with my co-host Gilbert.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Welcome to this episode of Endeavour News. Wait, hold up. Joined with my co-host. I'm having a bit of feedback. Audio issue. Sorry about that. All right, fix that. And I am joined with very special guest Eóin Murchú of Clann Éireann. Clann Éireann, sorry.
Hi, how's it going?
Great
Thanks
to
for
have you
joining.
with us, man.
Thanks for joining us. I'm going to struggle a
Yeah.
little bit with the Celtic pronunciations. I'm from New
No
Zealand.
worries.
We're not going to get them right every
I'll
single
correct
time.
you when necessary, but no big deal.
Yeah, please do, please do. So, for those that don't know, Clann Éireann, Clann Éireann is basically an up-and-coming nationalist group within Ireland. They're sort of a faction of the National Party. They're not breakaway because technically there's a dispute going on for party leadership right now that's ongoing. So they're not a breakaway faction. They're a faction within the party led by Justin Barrett. And they have a North American division that Eóin is a spokesperson of. So we're very excited to have him on. We're very interested to hear what he has to say. Talk about the state of Ireland, why there needs to be a North American division and the purpose of that, and the future of nationalism within the country. So, would you be able to give yourself an introduction? You can do it better than anyone else. So, could you tell us about yourself, Eóin?
Sure. My name's Eóin Murchú. I started the North American division, which in Irish is An Ran Mera Ketua. I launched it like right when the coup against Justin was unfolding, kind of to. I had been organizing Irish Americans and other Irish diaspora previous to that, but I launched it August last year, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I mean, some people will be wondering why there's even a need for a North American division. It's like, oh, you're living in America, shouldn't you focus on, American nationalism or something? So, what's the need for the Irish diaspora within North America to support nationalism and causes within their sort of motherland?
Well, first, the Clann Éireann's goal is to, it's not a political party. It's just a political organization, a nationalist organization that seeks to educate the Irish people and Ireland's children on the nationalist alternative. And the North American division oversees the political education and the mobilization of Ireland's diaspora to achieve those goals. To achieve, in the words of the great Irish heroes, Patrick Pearse, in Ireland that is not Gaelic merely, but free as well, and not free merely, but Gaelic as well. I had originally joined the National Party in, I think it was late 2019, and I had been searching for an outlet to express my intense nationalism, my Irish nationalism, and I was I reached out to a member of the NP, asking if members of sorry. I hear a lot of European accents, so I switch between trying to say diaspora and diaspora.
Oh, it's the same. It's the same thing. Just say whatever comes natural.
Yeah.
So yeah, I reached out and asked if members of the diaspora could join, and I was pretty happy that we could. And I started getting work on gathering like-minded members of the diaspora. Right now, there's up to roughly 100 million people around the world who claim Irish ancestry. There's 35 million in the U.S. alone. It's the second largest.
Yeah. Well, I wonder,
European extent.
I wonder what the percentages are there, because, for example, I'm like 10% Irish, but I don't really consider myself Irish because I think that's like too little a percent.
I think it's might be 10%.
10%. So I meet the threshold. Okay, sweet.
Okay,
Well,
good.
10% of the U.S.
Yeah.
is that.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I was talking about my own ancestry. I'm mostly Scottish and English ancestry, but I got a little bit of Irish, but
Well,
that's besides the point.
The Scots are pretty much Irish. The Scots were the Irish were referred to as Scotty in
Yeah.
Latin writings, and they had like moved to the western coast of Scotland. They had mixed with the Picts, the Brythonic Picts.
Who are also just like another Celtic people as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's as I was saying, there's 7 million in Australia. I was looking. The New Zealand Irish isn't as large, but I did see that in the 19th century, you guys had a gold rush. I don't know if you know much of New Zealand history because you said you had moved there, but
Mm.
they they made a home for themselves there because of that.
Okay. So there's still. Sorry, go ahead.
In Canada, and mostly in the eastern maritime provinces like Nova Scotia, which literally means New Scotland, because the Scoti definition of the Irish and land. It was such a large population there that they had a vote, and it was just barely denied that Gaelic was going to become an official language of Canada.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So you could have had French and Gaelic and English. That's amazing. Yeah. Better than Pajit, I guess, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
God.
that's the way they're going now.
Yeah.
I guess on that note, because it's a North American division, is the membership open to Canadians as well as U.S. citizens
Yeah,
as well?
I didn't want to call it the United States division or the Canadian division. I thought North American would be a good place to start. I think I was calling off the diaspora populations in the other English speaking countries, and eventually we'll
Yeah. So
create more divisions.
you're gonna have Clann Éireann Australia
Yeah.
Oh wow. No way.
on
The Australian division,
Australasia
South
maybe.
African
Yeah.
division, etc.
Well, there
Wow.
you go.
That's so crazy. I never knew that like I always knew that I had a sense that, Irish people all over the world they had a real keen sense of who they were, and they were a lot
So-
more like nationalistic than any other sort of group of people.
Yeah,
Kind of
there's a lot of Irish pride in the U.S. Irish.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the Irish, I guess you'd say migrants to a lot of these countries is they're essentially forced off because of such dire situations in Ireland proper, like famines, political discourse and whatnots, that they essentially were like forced to leave. So that's why I think there's a lot more pride in people with Irish ancestry than there was people with just I don't know, even like Scottish English. I mean, I'm Scottish and English, and my parents didn't seem to have much pride in their ancestry, unfortunately. So it is what it is.
Also, they are distinct. The Irish, you've got to say, like even with the iconography we're seeing here, and the Gaelic and the, I mean, it's Irish culture. It's very unique, just like any
Yeah,
other
I
country
would
in
say that
Europe.
the Celts and the Irish especially, they've had and even like the earliest writings of the Irish, they are as unambiguous in their identity. We've always identified as Irish.
Right, amazing.
Yeah, and I guess from there, I guess we can segue a little bit into what Clann Éireann actually is. So, like, how is it actually different from the National Party? Why why does it exist? Why isn't it just the National Party? We know that there's a coup, but our viewers may not know. They might not know the internal politics of the Irish National Party, which, to be fair, is probably somewhat obscure for someone that's not Irish or a nationalist. So I guess we can go into that. So would you be able to explain the situation with the National Party, how Clann Éireann came about, and why there was this split between the National Party and Justin Barrett?
There's a lot of confusing information put out there by just different sources. The Irish Times claims that Justin Barrett was hoarding 400,000 euros of gold bars, which is isn't true at all. And and supposedly the last Canada, the deputy leader of the party, James Reynolds, he was trying to get his hands on the gold.
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously the source was probably I made it up, but what's the actual story like behind the split between Justin and James Reynolds and the National Party and Clann Éireann?
Well, I think essentially that James Reynolds and the one he worked with the most, Paul Conroy, they didn't agree with Justin's leadership. There's a lot of
what was it about his leadership? What was, I mean, because this guy, yeah, what was it about that? It's
Yeah,
interesting.
because I mean, if you look at his speech, I mean, obviously we're not part of the organization, but the speeches he looked out, I've always liked his speeches for years. Probably about 2019 is when I first discovered about Justin. I thought he was pretty spot on with his speeches, and I quite liked the National Party as an organization. I thought it was actually quite a good
I
nationalist
think
party.
it's mostly ridicule of how ardently nationalist he is in his speeches.
Right.
Just getting right to the point of things. I guess on the JQ
Yeah.
and the enemies of international finance capital.
No, take your time, man. Explain it to us.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, the so James Reynolds and Paul Conroy, they had taken control of Paul Conroy. He had the access to all the passwords and such of the National Party, so they were really in control of the narrative. And Justin was locked out of his Twitter, or X account.
Yeah, Telegram, all that.
Yeah.
Because the other
Yeah.
faction, because there's been an ongoing dispute in the Irish Electoral Commission, right? So they still say that Justin's the leader, and
Justin got a letter finally from the Electoral Commission. I think it's about a month or two ago now, stating that he is and always has been the leader of the National Party.
yeah,
So
it's just what happened. Oh,
on
sorry.
paper and in being, Justin Barrett is the Connor of the National Party.
Okay, so there should really be no dispute, but as far as I'm aware, the court case is still being carried out as we speak. Has it instead got something to do with funds or something, or funding, or just trying to get a crystal, at least for myself, get it crystal clear about what's going on. But
well, in the party's constitution, there has to be a two-thirds or something like that majority when you're holding a conference of the leadership to amend the Constitution. And James Reynolds took it upon himself to have a one-person meeting. You can't have a meeting by yourself, but he claims that he had let Justin know in advance, but that's not true.
Yeah, what? So he had a meeting on the leadership of the party with himself, and then declared himself the leader.
Yeah, and he appointed people that were conspiring with him to leadership positions.
Yeah. So do you think that the dispute mostly started because Justin was, he was very on the point. He wasn't scared of like naming Zionism, international finance, Jewish
I think
privilege as
James
issues.
Reynolds and them, they're just they've been. I think they've been. Seems like they've been moving more towards the populist direction.
Right.
And are kind of afraid of the optics consequences.
And would you say that kind of that doesn't really reflect the feelings amongst the Irish currently, or what are your thoughts on that sort of um, schism in beliefs, or that dynamic that's going on? That one, Barrett thinks, oh, we need to really create a surge in Irish nationalism and cater to that, and or rather Reynolds is saying we need to cater to the more, I guess, normie friendly
Mm.
kind of ideas and sentiments of the Irish people. Can you give us a window of insight into what's going on with that?
Yeah. Well, to just give a preface to that, Clann Éireann launched our like a defensive wing of Clann Éireann called Skia na or the National Shield.
Mhm.
And there's been a lot of ridicule of the optics of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like people were saying that Justin was dressed up as in an SS uniform.
Mate, he's just
uh,
dressed up like his favorite Warhammer characters, like the Enforcer. no, no, much love to everybody. Just, yeah. So go on, go on.
yeah, they're saying the uniform was black, which it wasn't. They were doing that uh Bail na Blah in West Cork, and it was a damp day, so the dark green uniform was
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the
looked black
uniform.
to
It's
the game.
obviously dark green.
Mm.
Yeah,
But there it is there.
So what's the problem? They're
Oh, wait, no.
complaining that you're wearing a dark green uniform in
there was
Ireland. For
a
goodness
German
sakes.
nationalist had commented on that post right there.
Yeah.
He commented that, oh, it's right there. Do you see the German flag
Now,
Oh,
people are just like
to the right of your
schizophrenic.
cursor?
Yeah. Oh, wait, where? Oh, there, sorry.
That right there, yeah, yeah.
nice. But why?
You're saying, why is he wearing an SS cap?
Was
And
he
I
in
said,
SS?
well,
Yeah.
the SS doesn't have a monopoly on that
Yeah,
style
I'm
of
wearing
hat.
hats.
And then,
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure the Irish like police back when there was that fight for independence, they wore something similar to that also,
yeah,
right?
if you click or just scroll down to my reply that I see, I replied with a picture of Michael Collins, the person that uh, that that location is memorializing.
Mm,
He's
right.
wearing pretty similar hat to Justin.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know what you call it, like flat top military style hats have existed for centuries in the West.
Yeah,
It's a
Mm,
pretty common. It was pretty common in Western militaries. French, German, English, Irish.
yeah,
It's a pretty common style of hat. And he's obviously wearing that as a reference to the nationalists of the past, like is pictured here.
mm. Yeah,
yeah,
honoring
exactly.
them. Yeah, that's so silly. But these people, they'll just pick anything about you. They'll say anything really. It's just ridiculous. I think he looks good. I think it all looks. Everybody looks good here.
I think
It's like,
it's
come
very
on,
based.
the Irish nationalists like invented wearing balaclavas as part of their uniform. So, are you really going to
Yeah,
bash them for that?
we own that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, so yeah, that's so it was literally. Was there anything else? It was literally they just don't like the optics, that it was a bit too scary or something, or I don't know. What was that it? That
Yeah,
was the
they're calling
main.
it like
Yeah.
LARPy.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's LARP to
Oh, people just say that about anything.
defend ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, or pay homage to like your literal culture and history in dressing in that way. I mean that's a
Mm,
huge defining moment, a defining epoch in Irish history. I mean
yeah.
how can you not? And especially now, in reference to now, it's like, yeah, red alert everybody. This is a
Look,
serious situation. We
look,
need to remember who we are
uh,
and not go along with the clown
our
parade.
our enemies literally support like men dressing as women and pretending to be women and like
Oh yeah.
black
Hmm.
stabbing children. So I don't think we actually have to worry that much about like optics.
There's a picture of the Lord Mayor of Cork that was posted recently. I don't know what the rally or event was, but he's surrounded by like people just they're naked, like, and they're painted in
Yeah.
different colors, wearing like drag outfits. It's
Mm.
pretty disgusting.
Yeah, I saw that. That was yeah, but it's more of the same. It's just they're just rubbing it in everybody's faces now. It's like, oh, jeez. Yeah. So no surprises there. But
Yeah,
yeah.
the need for
Mm,
Skeena Shunta
Yes.
is back in 2022, the National Party held its Ardèche or party conference in the north, and there was a busload of about like 20 or so. Pretty sure I think they were all Antifa members. They came to the party conference with like hammers, and there might have been some knives. It's not sure, but they came armed with the intent to harm members of the National Party.
Yeah, yeah, right. And what panned out there? Did anybody get hurt or?
A few people held the door shut as they were like trying to get in, and they held it until the police service showed up. One member got sliced got a few tendons in his hand, pretty
God.
cut up, and he had to get serious medical treatment.
Oh, that's terrible. Jeez.
Yeah, so you literally have precedent of like leftists and communists and migrants attacking your conferences. And they go, "Wow, dude, why do you need a security force? This is total like SA LARP, dude." It's like, I think a lot of organizations organize their own security. It's not really that big a deal, and if you've got a president of literal communists trying to kill your members, you do need a security force to protect your own meetings. It's sort of one
obligatory.
yeah, you have to do it. It's mandatory at that point. It's like, what's the other alternative? Like die to communists? How about no?
Yeah. That you said they were bussed in, right? So that I presume
they were trying to barge through the doors.
So it wasn't just like a public transport they were taking.
No, I think it was a private bus that they had rented.
So they were literally bussed in, men dressed in all black with hammers, and they cut up someone's hand. And so this is what's going on, everybody. We literally have the establishment promoting thugs, organizing buses for thugs to actually attack nationalists.
As far as I know, none of the attackers were arrested or like further investigated.
Yeah. And it's the same story wherever you go in the Western world. You get it all set up, and it doesn't matter wherever there's a public demonstration of like, hey, we're here, we love Ireland, we love our country, come join us, we're all right people, and everything. They always organize these weirdo creeps to show up and start the violence, and then the people who are the pacifists get the blame. Or get the bad press.
Yeah.
So
Schism Junta is not a paramilitary force, and it's not an offensive force. It's defense.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what they do. They kind of just organize sort of public demonstrations and things like that.
Schism Junta?
Yeah.
Well, Schism Junta would operate in a capacity to just defend the non-members, the regular members of Clann Éireann when they're out in public.
I see. Got it. Well, that's good. That's a good thing to do then. Yeah, it's necessary. We need more things like that, to be honest.
Here you go. I found this.
You can't defend yourself.
So yeah, you had back in 2020. Had 2022. You had a group of about 20 armed like communists and blacks and whatever try to attack the conference that the National Party was holding at the time, and there was a few people injured. So it's like you got to protect yourself against this. I mean, what are you meant to do? Like I said, just stand there.
What's the alternative?
Yeah, get killed by commies. Yeah, just like get your head smashed in with a hammer by commies. Like, but dude, I'm peaceful. I'm not even LARPing, dude. Help me! Like, no. Obviously, you got to protect your own conferences and your own party members.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of Irish movements in the past have been formed out of defense. The Irish Volunteers were formed in I think it was 1913. They were formed in response to the formation of the Ulster Volunteers, which are a group of the Loyalists and Protestant members of the North, and they had they're less strict or no gun laws then, so they're armed with rifles. So out of necessity, Patrick Pearse and other members of the movement at the time formed the Irish Volunteers.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. That's cool. That's cool. Okay. And okay. Right.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, there's a history of it, and you'll find that a lot of movements come out of the same thing. They're
Yeah.
basically formed as basically collective defense, and that's why in the West you have, the powers that be promote
Mhm.
liberalism, individualism, and Zionism to keep white
Yeah.
people as these individual shattered worker bees that have no collective
Uh-huh.
roots, no culture, and no soul. They're just basically there to work a nine to
Just a
five.
worker.
Yeah, just a worker
Yeah.
bee that can be easily replaced with like another brown
Yeah.
worker.
Capitalism diminishes the role of the human being to just a disposable worker.
Yeah, and so does communism as well. So
Yeah.
it's sort of interesting that
Mm.
that as soon as you start collectivizing, like white people or Irish people or whatever, start forming a collective self-defense group that
Yeah.
everyone
It's
just
called out as white
yeah, it's
supremacism
called
or
white
yeah.
supremacism. And you got people that are supposedly from our own side going, "Wow, dude, you're like a LARPer. You're wearing a balaclava, so the police can't identify you and throw you in prison." Wow, dude.
Mm. Yeah, it's ridiculous. When I first saw that, I just went, wow, that's just the style of paying homage to what happened in Ireland. But they'll literally try and stick anything to who you are,
Mhm.
So it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just gotta. Yeah. So what's your feel in Ireland now? Like, what's kind of the big picture with it all? Do you feel the Irish people are kind of like receptive to Barrett, or
Yeah, I would
um,
say so.
mm,
Definitely recently there was those that riot in Dublin after an
Ah, this
asylum seeker
In
stabbed
some
right now this.
a young girl, I guess, out of her home or on the way to school. There's been protests against um, direct provision centers being built in Ireland. One of them, I think it's at Newtown, Mount Kennedy. The Gardaí, the Irish police, they charged the protesters, or just an actual peaceful protest,
Yeah, here.
mm,
as opposed to the BLM ones,
mm,
and used pepper spray. Um, but I think the Irish people are beginning to be receptive of the nationalist message, Clann Éireann's message.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's the thing. There's obviously a lot of grassroots resentment towards, the importation of these migrants that are from basically the dumpsters of the world.
Yeah,
You don't want these people from, 70 IQ African countries coming into your
yeah, they
country.
couldn't live peacefully in these their shithole countries, so they come here and they bring their culture to us.
Yeah, and their culture is literally like eating poo and stabbing children. So let's not do that.
Jeez.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
got these people. I mean, yeah, you've basically got as I think you guys have been calling it, and a lot of other activists and individuals are calling it, the plantation of basically
Yes.
Africans and Arabs into these communities, because that's exactly what it is. You
Mm.
have them coming in, and then the government led by what is it, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael.
Mm,
Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, yes.
Yeah, they import these derelicts, I guess you could call them,
Mm.
to every corner of the nation, planting them in all sorts of rural communities where they're obviously not welcome, they're not wanted. You have these grassroots protests, and then the police come and just start smashing them with batons and spraying them with pepper
Yeah.
spray and assaulting them, or peacefully assembling and saying they don't want like interlopers within their own communities. It's pretty ridiculous.
yeah. And I think
What do you mean you don't want to be ethnically replaced?
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, totally. And I think the Irish, typically from what I glean from the what I've glossed over their history is that they typically, very much identify with the underdog, and
Mm.
because they've spent a lot of their time. I mean, talk about oh my gosh, I had to work in making curries 18 hours a day or something. I don't know what they complain about anymore even, but that, like, the Irish people actually had it very hard, and I think you know, if you can spin or not spin it, if you can just show people like, look, this is what the government is doing. They're literally organizing with communists and with, you know, the third world hordes that are just, you know, beating us down. Then, you know, the Irish people will go, yeah, what the hell is up with that? And so I think yeah, I hope. Does Clann Éireann have a sort of like a propaganda or media apparatus? Because if we could just get like
Yeah,
even a
there's
team of like 10 video editors or something to just just span them out, you know, get people to share
mm,
them, other nationalist organizations, and you know, great people like Barry Stanton could, you know, share them. And I love that
I
guy.
hadn't heard of Barry Stanton until my feed was just all about him.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a funny
all
guy.
that stuff, all that stuff. Yeah, he's a true hero. That guy, we love him. But yeah, were you gonna comment on that, Owen?
Oh yeah, well, you're saying that the government is working with communists and Tiva. Well, that's nothing new in Irish history. In
Hmm.
During the Troubles, in the north of Ireland, the British government had colluded with the loyalist militaries that were fighting against the IRA, were
Amazing.
arming them.
That's interesting. Yeah. And that's just continued to today. You mean that
Yeah,
there hasn't really been a break in
evil
that?
has many faces.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of part of the Marxist Leninist sort of ideology that is overtaken. It's you know, communism on the left, but also communism on the right as well.
Hmm.
And people need to be very cognizant of that, where they think they see something, but actually these are, you know, it's a multifaceted evil with many different levels and many different faces, which
Hmm.
purport themselves to be something, but in fact it's just another string that leads to this kind of communist government ideology that
Right.
has overtaken the West. We actually had another guest, Jean Roy, from
Mm.
France, who he said the same thing, that it basically is this socialist commie country, and yeah, it's a really big
Yeah.
problem. And he
France has been fucked since
mm,
the end of World War One.
Yeah.
yeah, poor Frenchies, man. It's a shame because, you know, they, again, another great people, another great culture. You know, very
Hmm.
very high culture. So yeah, it's a great shame. It's a great shame.
Yeah, so I guess going from the anger of the Irish people, I guess we could start talking about the upcoming election in Ireland that's happening within the next 6 months, early next year,
Mm,
if not
Mm.
earlier. There's basically, you have the mainstream parties. I mean, you can just look at this graph. They're pretty much the lowest they've been in age, in, you know, I don't know, probably like ever. You got the three main parties. You got
Oh, I
Sinn
see it.
Féin,
Mm.
um, what was it?
Fine Gael.
Fine Gael, and
Yeah. Fianna Fáil.
Fianna Fáil, not Fianna Fáil, as I've been calling it, Fianna Fáil. So basically, the mainstream three parties are in the dumps, and you've had the rise of independents, and there's also
Hmm.
been other parties. I guess you'd call them more, I guess you'd say like mainstream populist right, or whatever you want to call it, like
Yeah, like
Independent Ireland and what is it?
the Identity Ireland, Ireland First, Irish People.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not nationalist parties. They're just more populist parties.
right, right.
And I and that and well, just yesterday the other faction of the NP that that controls the our media, they've launched a coalition with these parties, which further just further diluting the original the nationalist vision of
Mm.
what it started out as with when Justin Barrett was at his head. Well, it still has its head. Excuse me.
So
yeah,
are they like literal controlled opposition parties? Do you think, or?
yeah. So parties like Independent Ireland, like
Mm,
these ones,
Mm.
Independent Ireland, and was it Untu, Aontu or something like that?
On to.
Onto,
on to.
yes. So you got those parties. I guess, can you just give us a rundown of these parties? Because there's actually quite a lot of them. These sort of centre right wing parties in Ireland trying to vie for this populist
Mm.
energy. Can you just give us like a quick rundown of each one? I think some of them got councillors in the last election, like Irish First, Independent Ireland, all that.
Yeah,
And
well, all of them all have this lukewarm feeling of nationalism to try to more have a broad appeal, but in the end, it's not going to save Ireland from these waves of immigrants and globalism, Zionism, etc.
Mhm.
yeah, that
Yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, you go.
Yeah, I think what's the point of nationalism, national pride, if you separate the people from the nation? Identity, or no, Irish people, that party, they had a couple Africans speaking at one of
Oh goodness.
their events recently. And if you don't have a solid idea of who the Irish people are, well, you're not a nationalist party.
Yeah, that's not even getting started on like Sinn Féin. The
Oh
supposed
yeah,
when people think of Irish nationalists, I mean Sinn Féin's been around for over 100 years at this point.
yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of the Irish diaspora in America still believe that Sinn Féin is the de facto nationalist party.
I mean, you just have to look at this
Oh.
LGBT wing. That's how you know it's like a
Oh
liberal,
gosh.
a
Yeah. There
liberal
you go.
like cuck party.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
they're not a nationalist party. They're a Republican party.
Mm.
yes, and I mean now it's a republic. They just became like gay libtards, like every other party
Yeah,
in the
cuck.
supposed left wing, whatever you want to call it, left wing
Mm.
social democrat party. They're basically there's no difference between Sinn Féin and I guess you'd say what like the Socialist Party in France or the Social
Mm.
Democrats in Sweden. They're all the sort of the same at this point.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's been a far fall from when it was founded in 1908.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure the founders are rolling in their grave if they could see the state of Sinn Féin today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So is there like a tactic by the National Party to try and get some of these? Because it's almost like you see the same thing. They always try to put these front or faux nationalist groups
Hmm.
to try and
Well,
get
they're just
people that
trying to
yeah.
get into office, essentially.
Mm, right, right, yeah, for the sake of getting into office and nothing
Yeah.
else.
Yeah,
So
and I mean, and for the Independent Ireland, it worked. They got 23 local councillors, a European Parliament member. They've had
mm,
some parliamentary members flip. So for them, it's actually working by having this very sort
Yeah.
of
Well,
we like
going forward, and as it gets worse, because it's only going to get worse. Little
mm,
black pill there, but
mm.
as it gets worse, the Irish people will see that Clann Éireann is the only way forward.
Why do you say it's gonna get worse? Because it seems, from what I can see, it seems pretty bad now. Maybe it just has to be the extra straw on the camel's back. But I guess also, what is your
Well,
view on?
as
Mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm,
the hate speech laws will likely get worse.
mm-hmm.
The immigration will continue, and there'll just be more and more of them that will be replacing the Irish people.
Right, right. I see. And okay, so the current parliamentary distribution right now, it's not looking
we can
too
look at
hot.
that now.
Okay, yeah, sure. Let's get a breakdown of what's going on
Mhm.
here. Okay, so we have right. We've got Sinn Féin at 36 seats by the looks of it. We've got Green. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh no,
So
Fianna
no, no,
Fáil.
no, no. Look,
Fianna
here's
Fáil.
the government is Fianna Fáil, Fine
Ireland is
Gael, and
green. Everyone
Green.
likes to claim the color green.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so I mean, this is your government. You've got the Green Party in government with these supposed, centre right, whatever. I don't even know what you'd call these parties. Just
Mm,
the mainstream sort of centre liberal right, whatever you want to call it. And then in the opposition, you've got like a bunch. You've got Sinn Féin, some like
Mm.
commies, and some like faux nationalists, I guess you would call them. Independent Ireland,
mm.
Aeon two, and I don't even know what that is. Something, but
Right to change.
yeah, so I mean, the current parliament is still sort of dominated by the main parties, with the three main ones,
Mm.
and it seems like in the next election, I mean, the National Party's split until like Justin is able to retake it over, which hopefully he's doing he's got that in the works, so you can actually have a proper party that's not in a state of, I guess you'd say, factional civil war, because it's sort
Justin
of
Barrett and his wife Rebecca both ran for in the elections, and they won more seats than the other faction of the National Party, even though they poured like tons of money into it. There was actually a James Reynolds hired a propaganda bus. It's a funny sight,
okay.
but it all came to nothing.
Wow.
Did James Reynolds and Justin Barrett run in the same electorate? Because that would have been sort of funny.
On the same like constituency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was it different?
It might be the same. I'm not sure.
Look
Okay.
into it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay then. Interesting. So is there any at your discretion, I guess, is there any intel you can give us like on that? How's that looking? Does it look like Barrett's gonna take it, or Reynolds is gonna? Because geez, like especially at this current point, we just need nationalists to just work together. But is there any
I
intel you?
say it's
Mhm.
is and always has been our party.
Okay, right. So it's more to Barrett's side. Okay, right.
Yeah.
That it's looking more like it'll go to Barrett. And
Mm.
okay, well that's good.
Well, what's the plan for the coup? Like the coup ringleaders after they get kicked out? Are they just going to join? I don't know, like the Irish Freedom Party or something? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, they'll probably just try to get in wherever they can, try to save face.
Yeah, well, the people that let them in should be careful because these guys have already been proven themselves to be snakes. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I mean, that'll be good if Justin's able to reign control of the National Party again because he's the one that made it. He's still the leader of the party. So it's ridiculous that this is even happening at the first place, just because some other people had the logins to the social media page. It's caused all this chaos.
Yeah, it's almost a little bit suspicious that it should happen at this very time when the National Party appears to really getting some headway. It makes you kind of wonder about Reynolds and everybody else, or who supported, or I guess Reynolds just support. He's his own fan, maybe. But
Connor
oh, Keith
Long.
Woods. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, Connor Long in chat said that they did run into the same constituency, which is pretty funny.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like it's so important now that just people just really we can't have these petty feuds, we've just got to work together and just get egos out of the way, that so many people want to go, oh, I'm the big man, I know everything, I know how to do, it's like, geez, sometimes you just got to let the burgeoning people like Barrett, just take the fore and just support people like that wherever you can, instead of constantly and that's what I mean. It's like it seems very suspicious that at this very time when they're just sort of getting known and getting renown, that they should cause further strife, like Reynolds should cause further strife and cause all this chaos. What do you think?
I think it's just pointless as you're getting
Mm,
on.
mm,
It
mm.
only puts us back.
Do you think there's any like? Do you think Reynolds is who he says he is, or who he purports to be, or do you think he could
I think he's
be?
just an idiot.
Okay. Okay, right. Fair enough. Okay, so there's no sort of hidden agenda there. Interesting. Yeah. Because we've got to have unity. We've got to have unity and unity amongst our leaders so we can unify the people. So yeah, hopefully they can sort that out sooner rather than later. Because yeah, we definitely need the Irish. I mean, because potentially that's the Irish as a demographic, a global diaspora, are our closest and strongest ally. If they identify so much with being Irish,
Ireland is our greatest ally.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, totally. No, I don't disagree. But yeah, I mean, they potentially, I mean, could be the most centrifugal when it comes to you know forwarding nationalism across the globe. That's what I
Mm.
think. And no doubt there's lots of Irish in America who feel this way, and who do have nationalist feelings for their own country, and for their uh, place of origin, ancestral origin. So yeah, that's we need to get it sorted out, and yeah, as soon as possible. Um, yeah, so is that what you do in the United States? You kind of you sort of rally American Irish people, or around in America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to find, other nationalist members of the diaspora, bring them together to politically educate them and kind of, well, we're trying to as well learn more about our history and together and encourage each other to learn Irish.
Mm,
I was going to play
So
this on
that,
the background,
yeah.
just so some
mm,
viewers have something to look at.
hmm
Oh,
yeah. Okay, so you're kind of educating the public and getting
mhm.
them to know their roots, which is good,
Yeah, and
steadfast.
as well as pointing out that Sinn Féin is not what it was. I said earlier that it's a lot of the older generation, like the boomers, who still think that Sinn Féin is the nationalist party, and well, they grew up at like the worst of the troubles, where Sinn Féin was the leading party, leading force against unionism. So
Right.
they just have
Yeah.
to be, you know,
Okay. Interesting.
Do you ever have to like point out the absurdity of like the current Sinn Féin, where they're like, oh, the English out, but like Africans and Arabs in? It's like, what is this? I don't know.
yeah, yeah, I do.
Oh, right. Oh, really? Even to people you're talking to, even to people you're
Oh,
educating. Mm,
not the people that are already nationalist minded, and more the people that I'm trying to reach and bring
hmm
over to the division.
mm. Isn't that such an interesting thing that all over the world, like you have the Republicans, they think they're a nationalist party, and even in New Zealand we have this thing, and it's like all the boomers fall for it all the time, and it's really
Huh.
like Gen Z is educating the boomers
Hmm.
on politics rather than the other way around. It's kind of it's really funny, isn't it? Um, how the dynamic between the generations there in terms of understanding politics, it's a funny thing. Obviously it highlights to me the fact that their boomer politics, or their perception, uh, as I categorize as boomer politics, just isn't working. It is not effective, and then
Yeah,
that's when you
no.
get these people like you, Owen, who go like, hold the phone. What you guys are doing, have been doing for decades. Look where we are now. It's not
Oh, yeah,
working.
it
It's
infuriates me to see that the older generations are just fine with becoming a minority in their own communities and
mm,
having
mm,
their the the American culture subverted and replaced with the foreign ones.
mm, mm. Yeah.
It's like,
And that's why it's so
do you
important.
not see what's happening?
Mm, mm. Yeah, totally. But that there is power to being a young person. I mean, a lot of people see young burgeoning upstarts like yourself,
Mhm.
and that's a source of interest, and the boomers, they kind of want to be a part of that, and you know they want to join. I get the sense that they want to be part of some sort of group or something. So
Yeah.
yeah, the more people you can reach, just with did you say that there was like a propaganda machine in Clan Éireann, or because it's like
Yeah, there's the social media accounts that we have, like on Telegram,
mm,
Twitter, or
mm,
yeah, whatever, Instagram.
mm,
Justin Barrett has accounts on all those, as well as other members of Clan Aaron.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah. Because we got to put this guy in the spotlight a lot more. What he's. I mean, if he's the only one out of that whole parliament, it's like,
Well, he's
yeah,
not in Parliament, Justin.
no, yeah, but we got to get him in.
Yeah, fair
Got to get
enough.
him. Yeah. So yeah. What's your interactions with Mr. Barrett like? Do you speak to him often, or semi regularly?
I'd say semi-regularly. I didn't get a chance to meet him when I went over to Ireland, but uh, there was an attempt to. But I had met some other members of what was just the National Party then.
Okay. And I guess from there, once like Justin is able to get wrestle control of the National Party again, what's going to happen to, I guess, like Clann Éireann? Is it going to be like a activist wing of the party? Is it still going to be around, or will they just sort of be folded into each other? Or is that sort of
Yeah,
something
I
you're
would
not
say
privy
Clan
to?
Aaron, as it operates now, will still hold that role as a organization that seeks to educate the rest of the Irish people.
Okay. And then the National Party will be more of like an electoral tool to get
Yeah,
into
yeah.
these elected positions.
Mhm.
Speaking of that, the National Party does have the other faction has, I guess, what they got their first elected representative. I think it was, what was it, Patrick Quinlan? Is that his name? Uh,
Yeah.
so what's like? I know that like Justin and Reynolds obviously don't like each other. What do you know like how much these like others, I guess you'd say, somewhat important but not leadership level people like each other? Will they just leave when Justin wrestles control again, or will they come to your side? Do you have any idea what these people's
Well,
mindsets are? These other public figures of the other faction of the National Party,
Quinlan and other members like Jan Maharakti, they're both in Dublin,
right?
and I think as they would probably just leave.
Yeah, join some other like Irish Freedom
Yeah.
Cuck Party or whatever it was.
Mm.
The
Cuck
Irish.
party.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There was a guy in chat saying that it was either Irish Freedom or Irish First. Irish Freedom Party had like African. They go, oh, these Africans came illegally. They're not so bad, and we're going to run them as candidates.
Jeez. Oh my
Hey,
Yeah,
as long as
We
they
was
come in,
Africans and shit,
as long as they come in legally and assimilate to our culture, it's all fine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Mm,
So
fascinating.
Quinlan's like firmly in the traitor camp. He wasn't just like sitting there and like didn't want to
Yeah,
pick a side.
correct.
He just wanted to get elected. Okay, I got you. Okay, well
Mm,
that's sort of a shame, but
mm, mm.
I don't know. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it was a shame. There are I had some good friends that I don't talk to anymore because they had supported Reynolds, and it
so
was really just centered around the optics question.
they didn't
Like,
like Justin naming the Jew, even though like naming the Jew is more popular now and more
yeah,
mainstream now than it's ever been, and it's only going to keep growing.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Or it's just like you could just say like have a more tempered approach and say like, oh yeah, well, criticisms of Israel should be allowed. And I mean, it's really,
yeah.
people,
You
yeah.
know, a people is really oppressed when they like control all the narratives in the media and Hollywood and
Mm,
the porn industry, etc.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That too. It's a terrible
Yeah.
thing, isn't it? Yeah. That's yeah. I heard. Yeah,
Very very oppressed, and
yeah.
they even have their own country.
Well, the thing I
Yeah.
don't guess as well is like, why didn't they just do like if they had a disagreement, why didn't they just resign? Instead, they had to destroy the party and throw it into a state of chaos and disarray by stealing all the social media accounts and all the
Stupidity
funds.
and greed.
Yeah, probably greed.
Yeah. It makes like hearing stuff like that. It just makes me think like, is it just that, or is it something? Are they saboteurs?
Is
And is what I'm getting at.
who's pulling the strings here?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's, there's a really
Uh,
great quote I saw. Oh, sorry, you go, Owen.
no, I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, okay. There's a really great quote I saw, and it said, Jays are the most oppressed people in history, and I know this because they use their extraordinary wealth, their near monopoly of mass media, their
Yeah,
massive political influence, and their censorship of alternative viewpoints to make sure I
it's
got the message. So I feel very grateful to Jays because of that. Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
I was exactly thinking of that.
Um,
Yeah.
but I guess like the positive thing out of this is if you had this coup, it looks like Justin's going to wrestle control back eventually
Mhm.
when the Electoral Commission actually sorts their stuff out and kicks these other people out and kicks Reynolds out of the party, and these other people will leave. I mean, at least then you'll have a stronger party without snakes in your midst. So
Yeah,
and you'll be able to go from there, learn from it, and have a stronger national party, actual nationalist Irish, pro-Irish people party than ever before. And the sentiment, like we said, I mean, I've said this like nearly every single guest we've had. Our worldview is based in truth. So we're just going to keep on winning like arguments. I mean, not even arguments. We just win all the time in terms of optics, messaging.
W after W.
Yeah, it's just non-stop W's. And it's going to just keep happening because people don't believe the nonsense that the mainstream media, the mainstream political parties, the Zionists are putting out. And they're going more and more towards traditional nationalism because that's the natural state of human society. It's not communism. It's not,
Yeah.
global liberalism. Nationalism and having a nation for your people, run by your people, is
We're
the national.
telling the truth of against a narrative that's been just brainwashed into the West for
Yeah,
for a
100
while
years,
now.
100
And
years.
being it doesn't matter like what you call us, racist, Nazi, fascist, blah blah blah, literally Hitler. It doesn't matter because
Yeah, it's like we don't care. You can
our-
call us racist if you want. We got to keep going.
it's
Yeah, we
it's
gotta
going to be
survive.
our iron belief and our faith, our cause that the world is going to wake up to. You can't fight a cause half-heartedly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think other people are going to learn that. And I think it's interesting that this coup happened just before.
Yeah.
Like this is, you've had Israelis like bombing hospitals and everything. And the Jews are more disliked than they've been probably in like 50 years. So it's interesting that this happened right before this awakening is taking place between, European nations.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So it does seem like once Justin's actually in charge of the party again, I think the good things will come of it. As good things were happening when he was in charge of the party. Like I said, I used to follow the National Party back in 2019, 2018. I thought it was a very good party. I thought Justin was a very good leader. So it'll be good to have him back into that position.
Yeah. I would too, and I would just say if we can meme Donald Trump into the White House as he was in 2016, well, we can certainly use the power of memes as a tool to get Biden. So that's I think memes are the key here.
It's a very strong force of propaganda.
Yeah. So I mean, it can be done. The tools are there. We just need to use them. And
we just need more little Dark Age edits.
Yeah, true. Well, here's a migrant housing facility that mysteriously caught fire. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that those are even in those, like, those even exist. Oh, sorry, am I not sharing the tab? Oh, I was sharing it with the stream, but not you guys. So this is one of the migrant housing units that mysteriously caught fire.
Oh, wow.
It's a shame that these like migrant things, even like what is it? Migrant housing units. They shouldn't exist. It's like things like this shouldn't exist in a healthy society.
I think over 100 Native Irish died on the streets like in the last year, and the government's building these direct provision centers for people who don't belong here.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I don't know what the tax rate is in Ireland, but I assume it's too high. So you're probably being overtaxed. They're overtaxing the white man to build, or the Irishman, to build these, hotels, luxury hotels for migrants where they get to, have their day spas.
Irish people they can't afford the housing rates or the.
Oh yeah, ridiculous housing crisis.
Literally selling the youth out.
Forcing them to like move, to have another exodus out of Ireland, and they're moving to.
It's happening here as well. A lot of people are leaving New Zealand, like the founding stock of New Zealand, like Anglo-Celtic settlers, are leaving New Zealand in mass because it's too unaffordable here. Because we keep bringing in all these Chinamen and Pajeets that we don't need. That just keep driving up the cost of housing and lowering the standard of living. So it's.
I saw a article from the UK Telegraph that said that they should bring in more migrants to aid in the house building boom.
Yeah, they literally say that here. It's ridiculous. It's like, how about we just kick all the migrants out? Then we'll have heaps of houses. It's way easier just to do that. Why don't we just re-migrate these people back to their home countries, and then we'll have all this new stock of housing. Amazing.
Less traffic.
Yeah, less traffic. Imagine that. It's Yeah,
less belly.
you
But
don't need to import more migrants to build homes for those migrants you already brought in. Like it's literally a Ponzi scheme.
it's like their solution to everything is like migrants. Yeah, how to fix the economy? Oh, migrants. How to, what's the solution to abortion? Oh, migrants.
Well,
Oh,
a case
what about
specifically
COVID-19?
to the case of Ireland, well, the argument that the left has is that, oh, migrants come in, they'll boost the economy. What about the diaspora? It's not going to be the whole millions of figures that I quoted earlier, but you kick out the non-Irish and you invite the
Mm,
Irish diaspora who want to come back, and they'll fill the roles of those jobs and boost the economy.
mm, mm. Yeah, precisely. Precisely. Yeah. I even do that in like African countries, like to American blacks. They'll say, like, oh, come here and build a mud hut, and we will give you some fried dog. Or that's my African accent.
It sounds like an
I,
Indian one.
Yeah,
that all kind of, yeah. They do kind of in a way sound Indian, but yeah. But is there anywhere you want to take this, or should we get into like broader topics like COVID-19 or something like that? Or we can just keep going. I don't mind. It's fine. Just wondered if you wanted
Okay,
to
that's
keep
actually a
continuing.
good one actually.
no,
So
no. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
I guess we could talk about COVID-19, right? Because, like in many countries, there was a fairly large, I guess you could call it, like anti-lockdown movement in Ireland.
Mm.
Would you be able to say how much of the sentiment towards like the anti-lockdown, anti-government sentiment has gone into the more, I guess you'd say topical sentiment of the anti-migrants, anti-plantations, mostly just those, the anti-plantations. How much of the anti-lockdown sentiment has evolved into the anti-plantation
I think
sentiment,
it's
if
all
any?
it's all combined to be anti the establishment
Yeah, absolutely. That's great to hear.
that has been pushing all those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I think this is probably a good topic. Like, what is actually the establishment in Ireland? Because I think a lot of people that aren't in Ireland wouldn't know. So, can you give us a rundown of the three main parties? You sort of went over Sinn Féin. Can you do Fianna
Yeah,
Fáil and Fine Gael? Like, well, what are these parties?
yeah, they're economically left, I would say. They're not nationalist at all. They're left socially, a bit left economically.
Yeah, so they're just like liberal
Right.
parties. Like, what? How are these
Yeah,
parties so popular? Because it seems sort of strange to me that
well,
Ireland.
all these parties have their roots back into the early 20th century. Like Sinn Féin started in 1908, was the nationalist ticket when Ireland was fighting for independence from Britain. And Fine Gael, this is the biggest irony. Fine Gael was actually formed by uh, a man named Owen O'Duffy, and he was a corporatist, and he's been accused of being like a semi-fascist, and so much so that Owen O'Duffy, he organized a brigade to go fight the Reds in Spain, and they fought alongside the Carlists and the Francoists, and now Fine Gael is a liberal party. So
How did
Well,
that happen exactly? How did, what was the change? Or sorry, was there a change? Sorry.
there's been there's obviously been a huge change from being
I mean, you just have to look at
corporatist,
this.
proto-fascist to
Hmm.
uh, just being liberal dirtbags.
Yeah. So what exactly happened there?
I think it's a lot of it can be attributed, I think, to the period of the Celtic Tiger in Ireland, where there's a sudden economic boom, and that it increased the. It was like the first time in Irish history where like multiculturalism was introduced, and I think they played the economics card and
Oh
the
yeah, the
booming
whole
economy to really just to gain more support.
Right.
yeah, we need
Right.
migrants
Right.
to support our GDP. That whole thing. We've heard it all
Yeah.
before.
They even, I don't know if they were even explicit as that. They just said we're gonna do things to bolster the economy, and then they just brought them in, right? Without them. I mean, I would have been a kid when all this was happening, but I don't really. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, maybe in some cases, but they're really. I mean to say that they really just they're really just forcing it on us, whether they they care about our opinions or not. They don't care. Um, but yeah, interesting. So was that?
Profit before people is, I
Mm,
think,
Yeah.
their mottos.
mm,
It has been for decades at this point.
Yeah.
mm. So Celtic Tiger, is that what kind of organization is that?
Oh no, it's not an
Oh, it's not
organization.
an organization. It's it
Oh,
was
so,
just the name given to the growth in Ireland's economy from
right.
the mid '90s to the collapse of the housing market in 2008.
Sure, got it,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, so and okay, that's where all the liberal sort of policies with the Marxist bent, of course, came in. I see. Interesting.
Yeah, there was a period of like, oh, we're becoming the world's richest nation, but really it was just like a bubble fueled by a housing crisis. That's sort of
Mm,
that's what the Celtic Tiger was, really.
Mm,
yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So back to COVID-19. Is there? Do you think there is like a mass awakening happening amongst the Irish? Do you think that this has caused a lot of people to come out of their shell, or what's it like? Are a lot of them talking about it and suspicious of it, or what do you think?
Yeah, I would say that the Irish, more than a lot of the world, did not fall for the
Oh, that's
the
good.
scam.
That's good. That's good.
From what I've seen.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Okay. So no cookie dough injections for them. Awesome.
Yeah, that's good to
Yeah.
hear.
But yeah, the government was like a few steps away from making um, cookie dough mandatory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think same with
And then
ours actually.
they kind of
Mhm.
switched their tracks because they wanted to keep popular support.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
well, I mean, the good thing about COVID is, well, I mean, not really the good thing, but with
It kind
the
of backfired.
yeah, with a lot of people it did. I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of like, I guess you'd say Zogbots that just went along with it. They're like,
Mm.
oh, I'm gonna save grandma from dying, but there were, luckily, a lot of people that just realized our government is just like completely evil.
Mm,
Yeah.
They will
mm,
they'll lock down our population, they'll take away our rights, all so that a pharmaceutical company can make billions of dollars, and that was basically it.
Mm.
And who does that profit? Yeah.
Yeah.
So exactly. But yeah, well that's good. So there's been you feel that there's been more of an awakening in Ireland about this subject than other countries from what you can tell.
Yeah, I think it's also served as an awakening to all the West.
Mm,
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways it has.
Yeah.
yeah, certainly. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, that's good. Um, what about the how was it? I remember there was some years ago there was something on the abortion um, situation
Oh
where
yeah,
hmm
the abortion referendum. I
mm,
forget what year it was, but yeah, the the pro life movement based their campaign solely around like saving babies that would be that were diagnosed with
mm,
like severe autism or disabilities, and they didn't really um,
They didn't actually have like a
target
prop.
the traditionally Catholic audience of Ireland like they should have.
okay, okay.
Why didn't they? Was it just uh,
I think more
were they just controlled
just
opposition or what?
Mm,
I
yeah.
think it was just a bad tactical move.
Mm, mm, okay.
It,
Interesting. Yeah, it happened on 25th May 2018. Irish people voted 66% to 33% in a referendum to repeal the Eighth Amendment. They approved the 36th Amendment, which permits oireachtas, or I won't pronounce that, to legislate for abortion. The Constitution had previously prohibited abortion.
Yeah, and
One of those things.
one of the 9 principles of Clann Éireann is to end any take out any law that would prohibit an abortion taking place.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, most children are. Yeah, that's a thing with this woman dynamic, and it's something like the topic of woman is like a whole subject in itself, really. But um, I want to broach this because I feel it's important, and I think it's kind of reflective of what we're experiencing in America right now, where we're
Mm.
seeing that. I don't know if you watch the DNC, Owen, but
No, I don't really pay attention to the faux
sure,
pas that is the elections. It's just
right,
they're the same party. Like it's two sides of the same coin. The Republican Party has been retreating on their policy to pander to like just like younger voters, or what's more popular over time, which
mm.
is like more liberal ideas.
Yeah, certainly that's all who presently exist in both parties at the moment, and certainly that's the case so for much of the world right now. And it's like why, like Hector and I constantly stress, like if you're a young man, get together with your friends, get together even with family members, and try and do something, actually infiltrate or spread some form of media or something
Mm,
to get the truth out and try and because there's a problem, and you're right, it is this two sides of the same coin situation in terms of politics. And it's like, okay, so there's a problem. We all need to fix it. We all need
hmm
to get involved, and we need to really get right in there to the levers of power and
I also
and
say
fix it,
that
change it. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Mm,
APAC, the American Israel Public Affairs
mm, mm,
coalition, they've lobbied and supported both sides, both parties,
mm.
like for their entire existence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, totally. I think they've yeah, yeah, no doubt as Thomas Massey said, they've all got an APAC guy, and this is yeah, it's all public knowledge. There's no conspiracy. This isn't a conspiracy, but yeah, it's in the DNC, but maybe not a lot of people watched it. But they there was a real push. It was very interesting. There was definitely a flip to conservative voters because they
Mm.
did go on this communist bent for years. This anti-white, um, anti-male Christian sort of Marxist communist
Yeah, I think
bent.
Kamala as well switched her opinion on building a border wall as well,
Yeah,
as you're
that's
saying, to
right.
appeal to more conservative voters.
Even though, and yeah,
As
that's right.
and they've like staunchly opposed it for the last, well, all of Biden's presidency and Donald Trump's as well.
Exactly. They've never, and Biden himself, we need
Yeah,
an
and all of a
unrelenting,
sudden
yeah.
Kamala is Indian now. No, not or like East Asian. Um,
mm,
I actually saw that on it. If you look at the past versions of the Wikipedia page on Kamala Harris, it only refers to her as black, and now
right.
she's now she's
Mm,
Indian.
yeah, I believe it was her mother attended a lot of black functions and
Mm.
communities and was, I think a part of the Panthers in some capacity, these really far left radical organizations.
Look at how diverse we are.
Yeah, exactly. And it's even on the Republican Party as well. They've got this
Yeah.
weird Pajit Indian thing going on. And there was that literal huge 400-pound insane Indian guy saying, "Oh, we come from Chumbawamba land." He literally said he came from Chumbawamba
Was
land. I was
that
like,
on
I'm
during the DNC?
yeah, yeah, that was you probably saw him, this huge Pajit. He looked like he had too many naan breads, but yeah, but anyway, yeah, there's this definite flip to conservatives with they're wearing the camo hats. They're waving the American flags. They're saying, "Oh, we're proud to be an American. Oh, we're actually,
Since when?
against the migrants surging the border, even though we have no confidence.
Even though we haven't done anything about it for
I
years.
see the guy you're talking about. Rakesh Bhatt, Hindu priest Rakesh Bhatt opens DNC with Om Shanti.
Should we just get that up, because that's really funny.
Yeah, post the
So,
link.
Yeah, I'll you can chuck it in the chat if you can, Owen.
The one I'm looking at is the Times of India.
Okay, Times of India. I'll get it up then. What's his name? Rakesh.
Rakesh, Rakesh Bhatt, Bhatt.
But yeah, this was, he was like this. Oh, okay. Rakesh. Oh no. This guy's a different one. This guy's.
You're not showing it on the live.
Yeah, I don't have the link.
Yeah, I don't. I can't find it either. But this guy's a different one. The other one, he had like these crazy eyes. And DNC Indian.
I looked up DNC Indian speaker and I found it.
Yeah, not this. I think he was doing
a
prayer to Waheguru or something. That's no, not that one. Okay, damn it. Anyway, the chat probably knows what I'm talking about. But yeah,
they also really upped the emphasis on being on stolen land. I think there was a whole opening of, I think the entire opening of the DNC was, we acknowledge that we are on.
Are they really stealing that? Are they really stealing that from like Australia? Because that's where that stuff started.
Really?
And, yeah.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, but it's a bit. I mean, if they're going to start with that obviously. I mean, you don't want to be told that you need to be like welcome to your own home country. That's when you start doing stuff like that. Luckily, it swings people in our favor, because as there was in Australia, they kept doing these like welcome to countries, we acknowledge the stolen land, and then they did their referendum on whether to give like Aborigines extra constitutional powers, and the Australian people voted no, like massively. So if they start doing that, it will swing more people to our side, because people just get sick. Like, why people just get sick of having these institutions and the powers that be just like constantly pander to these brown people. It's like, why people are getting sick of it? And luckily in Australia, they got so sick of it, they voted down giving Aborigines these extra constitutional powers within their legislator. So it's good.
Yeah. And it's that's right. And in Kamala's case, I don't think the pivot will be enough. Maybe it will. Who knows? To this sort of American pride that they're beginning to inculcate, at least for now, in their party.
I think now that RFK Jr.'s supported Trump, I think that's swaying all the votes that are thrown up in the air as independents. I think that'll definitely help him win.
Yeah.
Really?
In November.
Because I remember him saying, RFK, that is, saying, oh, I'm the only one who can beat Donald Trump. I'm actually taking voters away from him, from Republicans, because so many Republicans, really liked my dad and my uncle, rather than, and I think he did say that he would take Democrat voters as well. But yeah, you think that's the shift there, that he's taking Democrats with him to Trump. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, cool. But yeah, okay, so that's good. Yeah, I'm not sure it's gonna be enough for Kamala. What's your whole feeling on that situation?
Well, I think since RFK's platform is really like a copy of his uncle's platform in the 60s, which is so much more socially conservative than even the Republican Party now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
He made points about like the American like health crisis with obesity and not being fit, and and JFK did the same when he was in office.
Yeah, well, it looks like at the moment, in a lot of places, swing states, Harris and Trump are pretty close to being like tied. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks. I don't know when the actual debate. When's the debate between Harris and Trump meant to be happening? It's meant to be happening in the next few weeks, right? sometime in September. It'll be interesting what happens there because Harris and Trump haven't actually had like much of an interaction with each other. So
No.
depending on how that debate goes, it'll be interesting to see what happens there, and it could swing the election sort of either way, really, depending on.
Harris has another like Biden IQ, so it's actually kind of going to be difficult for them to, they'll pose all the questions to her beforehand, and then she'll have to practice. Is the only way they're going to be able to do it. That's why I think they're stalling so much on this. But yeah, I think they should be coming up soon. But yeah, it took them a while to release that Harris CNN interview. And that's why she never gets any public appearances, because she talks like a
Kamala's barely
kindergarten
been in the
teacher.
news or been given, or like barely given any like speeches herself.
Yeah. And when she does speak, she goes, I like, yellow buses. It's like it's weird. It's like she's condescending to her audience, or which I suppose in certain terms of certain demographics she sort of has to. But it's that all the time. Yeah, sure, no worries. So yeah, okay. Is there anything you want to sort of address now in terms of that you feel is important in terms of Irish politics and or American politics or anything like that? Is there anything you'd like to get across like right now that you feel is important for people to understand and get across to their minds? You have the floor,
Yeah.
Owen.
I
Just
think
hit
that
us with
it's
it.
important to point out that is the liberals in Ireland, they have a tricky perception of race. They don't see the Irish Americans or the rest of the diaspora as Irish, but they bring in the migrants who aren't even white at all. They give them a piece of paper and give them some housing, and they automatically magically become Irish. It's
Yeah, it's true. It's a nonsensical position to take. But anyways, I think we should start wrapping it up. I'm sort of, an hour and a half is a good time to sort of have it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for coming on. It's been a good chat. It was interesting to hear your takes on Clann Éireann and Ireland and also America. So it's
Thank
good
you
to
for
have.
having me on.
No worries. And be sure to check them out. We've got the social media links. Check out Owen's social media links in our description
Yeah.
below.
Can I
Thanks.
just add that if anyone's looking to support Clann Éireann, there's a fund, a GoFundMe kind of type thing on that Justin has posted, and we've all been posted around. And if you want to help the nationalist cause in Ireland, then I ask you to please donate.
Awesome. Yeah, check them out, everybody. And if you can, give them some support. I'll also just plug to like, share the show. We have, make sure to stay tuned. November, we're doing a big, mega November 5th stream. And we'll be hopefully featuring some interesting people that day. So make sure to stay with us for that. We also have a bunch of other, guests, including geopolitical analysts and historians and writers. So make sure to, keep in the loop, everybody. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week on Endeavour News. And as always, stay blessed, not stressed. We'll catch you next week.